Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. My apologies for being a little bit late. We're all just, we'd all won this weekend, as Charlie was mentioning earlier. So we've all been having a little chin wag just off air there. But thank you for being patient and waiting for us. The regulars are in the house, myself and Corey. We've got the return of Igal. I wanted to bring on Igal. It seems a while since we've had an Arsenal fan's perspective on the show.
It's been since the last Leicester game.
Oh, well, there you go then. Full circle. And listen, we have been championing Arsenal while you've not been here. We've been saying they're doing really well, so I wanted to get an Arsenal fan's perspective. And Charlie as well. Charlie's joining us, a Watford fan. Wanted to get his thoughts. Works for the Coach's Voice. Leeds fans may well have seen the Jesse Marsh webinar. Is that what you call? Is that what you call them?
Webinar, yeah. No,
webinar. That's it. Yeah.
It's brilliant. I advise anyone to watch it. I spent about 2-3 hours watching Jesse Marsh content, so it's well worth a watch.
Yeah, it's cool. I gave it a retweet as well when obviously all that was announced, and it is a really good watch because we obviously doing this. I did a little bit of research and stuff myself and watched that. So if you haven't checked out the Coach's Voice, it's been retweeted. It's on my social media. Make sure you check out Charlie's social media. The link's in the description, along with Igal's channel and of course Corey at the West Ham Way. So do that. Before we get into the running order and have a little chat about the games, how's everyone doing? We'll start with you, Corey. How's things, mate?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good after yesterday. It's probably a bigger win than it looks on paper. Villa are in form. We've been struggling, but yeah, really impressed with us, mate. Really impressed with us. We had a couple of injuries coming into it and even throughout the game. And Yarmolenko's a massive talking point, but when he came on, I thought that was it for us. We had to switch it up. But yeah, a good time to get a win given Thursday. I think momentum's a massive thing. So I'm just buzzing to get in there. 60,000 West Ham fans. The atmosphere should be rocking. So yeah, I've got a lot to look forward to. But they're a very good team, Sevilla. Like I can't lie, they're so good. I didn't underestimate them, but I don't watch the Liga week in, week out, and you see the level. Yeah, they're a very, very good side. It's a reason why they've won it 4 times.
Have you seen the away stand? Oh my god, that looked like you could fall off and like into an abyss.
Yeah, it's nuts, mate. It's really nuts. Well, I think West Ham, obviously, we booked out the whole away end, and even some of them got in the home end as well. So it was kind of a home from home. I think everyone was a bit hungover yesterday, apparently. I wouldn't know, because unfortunately, I don't have enough points. I wasn't jealous at all that I missed it.
I can imagine, mate. You should have just gone anywhere. Mate.
Go for the final, mate. It's out in Sevilla anyway, so.
Fair. That's fair. Igal, how's things with you, mate? Arsenal flying, mate. You must be, I see it on social media. You're bouncing, aren't you?
Oh, man, I could be yelling and screaming right now, but I pretty much almost lost my voice yesterday. I fell down and I had to go to the hospital, so I'm good. But the team is doing even better. I'll tell you this right now. Anybody who's an Arsenal fan, we're buzzing. This is the best team we've had, like cohesiveness-wise, most balanced team we've had in a long time. And I feel like this is the most likable team from maybe from the outside looking in. There's just so many lovable, likable players in this team, and we're just playing so well. The cohesiveness in the squad. There's no questions about Arteta at this moment in time. Everyone seems to be behind the manager and behind the team, and I just love it. It's a good atmosphere at the Emirates. And I went to a North London derby. That yesterday at Leicester was probably the best atmosphere since. And if you guys want to check it out. I did a match vlog on it. It was pretty good.
Cool, definitely. Well, the link's in the description to Igal's channel, so make sure you check that out. And Charlie, how's things, mate? A bit like me being a Leeds fan, we don't win very often, so when we do, mate, it's a great weekend, isn't it? So you must be buzzing.
Yeah, it's just a surprising win. I went to Wolves on Thursday, and we were absolutely terrible. So I've been miserable up until Sunday. Then sometimes they just surprise us with these bizarre wins, and you're like, "Oh, that's not bad. Let's see what happens." Yeah. But long way to go. We shall see how the season pans out.
Yeah. There is still a long way to go. Although, like, I'm such a passion guy. Like, as soon as yesterday was done, I was like, "We're staying up. We're staying up." And my mate's like, "Calm down, Joe." I can't though. It just gets away with me. But before we get into all of our individual games, which we will do, big shout out to everyone watching as well. Do like the video. Remember, likes, views, subs, all that jazz. Crazy numbers over the last couple of days. So thanks so much for the support and continue to support the channel. But let's start with Saturday's big game. Saturday evening, Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. Ronaldo now officially, since like FIFA records began, I think there's still a debate maybe over Pele, but a lot of it's not actually being recorded. I don't know. I don't know, but look, Ronaldo on record, 807 goals now, hat trick for Manchester United as well, and some great goals. Although I do think, and I don't know what your guys think, I think they over-egged the header a little bit. Like,
Nah,
I didn't think,
mate, no, that was a serious header.
no,
Nah,
I
come
didn't
on.
think it was that.
Really?
Good, I was like,
No,
I don't know.
mate,
That might be the Manchester United hate right there.
Yeah, maybe. But they were going, oh my God, what a header! And I was like,
You want to know something, bro? I would usually banter Tottenham every loss, but the fashion that they lost in, I can't even make fun of them. Ronaldo basically took the game by the scruff of the neck. Man scored from outside the box. He scored a penalty and he scored a header. I know it's not a complete hat trick. It's not a complete hat trick because he didn't score with his left foot, but it's pretty close to being the most like footballing complete hat trick. Scoring inside the box, scoring a penalty, and scoring from outside the box is pretty impressive. And I think Ronaldo deserves all the credit that he's getting. But this over the top stuff where you're now saying he's better than Henry, he's the best Premier League player of all time. No, let's stop that.
I never said
Who
that,
even
right?
said that?
Some people say that. Some people say that.
Don't listen to him.
I don't know. But go on, talk to me about that header, Corey. What are you saying? You thought it was the one?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I actually think it's awful defending. Like, having watched it again, I don't actually really understand what Spurs is, because with Tottenham, I thought they edged it as the better team. Obviously, they created more chances, but defensively, they have Ricks in them. You see it for Dyer for the first goal. It was man to man at the edge of the box, and then it was zonal, and Doherty literally has got done by Ronaldo, and he's panicked. He's supposed to be attacking his zone. He hasn't. But even then, a keeper's got no chance against that. It's the height. It's just the pace on it. It was just, even for me, I was just watching it. I was like, nah, that's an unreal. Like, the first one's a brilliant goal. It is. But the way he attacks it, and it's so, as a player, the way he can just jump like that and he just hangs in the air, forgetting he was a winger when he first started out. It's nuts. But like Gal said, he took the game by the scruff of the neck. He was, everything he was doing was brilliant. And him, Sancho, even Fred there's an argument that he's probably...
Fred, man, that little flick by Fred for Ronaldo's first goal was a little beauty.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because you've got two teams that realistically rely on moments from players. You've got Spurs with Kane and Son, Kulusevski maybe, and you've got Manchester United, Sancho's coming into it. So, and the expected goals, I think Man United were 0.93 and they scored 3. So that's all you need to really hear, to be honest. That's Ronaldo at his best. And the goal he scored, the first one, was a throwback. That, for me, is when growing up watching the Premier League, that's what he would do. Take a touch out of his feet, and it was a class.
I don't think a better goalkeeper saves that first one from Ronaldo.
Yeah, there is a little bit.
See, I'm on the train of Dyer should have got out to him. That's kind of where I'm thinking.
Alisson or Edison might save that. It wasn't in the corner enough for me, but...
I hear you. Ramsdale saves that. Melier probably saves that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think there is something in Lloris, because the reason, and I like to mention it because Matt, who's a regular on this show, Spurs fan, was trying to tell me and Corey and stuff earlier on in the season he was still up there as one of the best in the league and stuff, and I'm just not having it. I don't think. I think Lloris,
I kid you not. He had one good performance again. I mean, Lloris has had good performances this season. I'm not saying Matt's complete line, because he definitely isn't. But he had one good performance against West Ham, and he's the best keeper in the league. And I'm like, we can't do this, man. Like, we can't, I know he loves it, and every fan's the same. But Lloris has that in him. Like, Lloris is one of them keepers where he can pull off a worldie, and at the same time, he can make a howler. I don't think it was a howler level, but it's still. Maybe
did you watch the West Ham? I watched the West Ham game, but then after that, wasn't it the Wolves game where he dropped the ball like 3 times to concede 2 goals? So it's like, yeah, you're right. He always finds a way to mess it up, but I feel like it's the Spurs gene. Literally, they tend to do that. They tend to find a way. They tend to find a way to just lose these games. I think the most funniest part of this whole thing is the Harry Maguire own goal. He's basically scoring against his own team. And then on the other end, you got Cristiano Ronaldo saving them week in, week out. I don't know when we're gonna have this discussion about Harry Maguire. He should never be in England ever again. Like, I'm not even an England fan. I don't know about you guys, but like, talk to me.
Do you know what though, right? And
well, if he was at Leeds, if he was at Watford, if he was
for England, man, he's not bad.
Like, he started at your clubs.
He can play well in a back three, but once he's isolated, that's when he's in trouble. But he's good to play the ball back. But at Manchester United at the moment, they're so open defensively. Tottenham should have won that game, but they just weren't clinical enough. I think Tottenham just don't have the players with Doherty. Sessegnon was a big miss for Tottenham. They had Reguilon, who not as good defensively and working the line, but Maguire, for Manchester United, it doesn't work at all. England, you can't argue, he does well, and he's a good threat in the box offensively as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, definitely. And I think there's that clip, isn't there, that we're doing the rounds of Merson making that point before when he first signed for Man United about him being in a back three and, you know, how you're protected, and the only reason you're playing a back three is because you can't play in a two kind of thing. And, there's a great point to be made there. But I don't know, when Maguire, whenever he plays for England, he does well. And I think there's a lot to be said, and you can see it is the pressure. The pressure is too much for him, which is mad. But as soon as he pulls on an England shirt, man, he scores in first game and he's telling crowd to shush and that, and then he goes back to Old Trafford and crumbles.
You can tell it's pressure because sometimes with Maguire, you watch Manchester United games and I'm thinking, he's not been that bad. Like, he's not been horrific like every time. But it's those lapses. He has lapses in concentration, or it's almost like he can feel it and he panics and he makes the wrong decision. And that, like, when you're talking about from being a good defender to an elite defender, that's where it's at. It's just he's in a predicament where he should never really be at Manchester United, if I'm honest. He's not an £80 million player, but I think when he starts sinking, he really sinks. To be honest, if it's good man management, you just take him out for a while. You leave Varane and Lindelof or Bailly if he's fit and take the pressure off him, because I think he's a decent defender, but he's always going to be marred by the fact that he's never 80 million. So, it's a madness to buy him. The worst one's Wan-Bissaka for me. 50 million for Wan-Bissaka is fraudulent behaviour. Like, it's not good. It really isn't.
He's not good, is he?
You know what? I think a person from Hull said Harry Maguire is one of the 23 players that I played with at Hull, and how he made it to the top out of other 23.
Yeah, but that's El Mohammadi, and he's coming out and saying this, and it's like, do you know, I hear what you're saying, Igal, but it's easy for him to come and say that now. Do you know what I mean? I did see that quote, and he was like, oh, he's not a leader, and he's not this, he's not that. And I'm thinking, yo, you're El Mohammadi, go away. Like, go away. I mean, maybe I'm doing him a disservice, but I just felt, I could see you nodding along there, Charlie. Do you agree? Do you think it's a little bit lazy from him?
I'll never forget El Mohammadi. Hull went up instead of Watford, I think 2008, and he was dancing like a clown. And he's got no right. He can't really talk with the career he's had, can he?
Exactly. This is what I mean. It's so easy. There's that. I know there's that Van der Vaart one, isn't there?
Yeah. Did you see the one where he did the interview and he's like, Harry Maguire, 80 million. No.
I don't know, but I do think the El Mohammadi thing's it's a reach.
Can we talk about Sancho though? Sancho, people need to stop doing this whole Bundesliga tax, because every single one of us have seen players come from other leagues, and it takes them a while to get the ground under their feet, and it takes them a while to adjust. So stop calling it Bundesliga tax and just call it as it is. They need to adapt to the Premier League. I think this whole Bundesliga tax thing is very much like disrespecting the Bundesliga, because if Lewandowski came to the Premier League, I don't think he'd have as long as time to adjust as some of these other players would take. But everyone is going to take time to adjust. Look at Kai Havertz, same thing. Bundesliga tax, people yelled. But yeah, that's just my point on it.
Do you know what? I was going to make the point of wait for Haaland to rock up at City next season and see how long he takes to adjust, man. He'll be banging him in from minute one, I'm telling you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Elite. Yeah,
don't worry about
need
that.
Any time.
He will not need any time. You're right. What did you make to... I'll start, Charlie. What did you make to? I don't know if you've seen it, but Romero with Maguire. You know, when he did score the own goal and he gave it the all in his face, I was like, oh no!
It's a beautiful bit of shithousery, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Manchester United at all. Growing up in Watford, London, loads of people at school are Manchester United fans, even though they live miles apart and having that
Shock.
glory. So this golden era of them being shite is glorious. But no, I mean, you do love to see it. But I was gonna tweet kind of or send it in the WhatsApp group about Romero. But you just got to wait till the end of the game
Yeah.
and look what happened. It's one of those. If you win and he gets the points, it's fine. But he's going to come round to bite him. But he's an entertaining player. He's a really good player, really aggressive defender. He'll get a yellow card every game, but he's something that you would want to have in your team. I really, really rate him. And I think with Conte, if he stays next season, he'll be an important part of his team.
Definitely, yeah. He's probably the only one of that back four or back five, however he rocks up, that stays. Do you know what I mean? He probably is. He'll probably bin the rest off.
He's not even their player. He's on loan.
Is he loan? Is it not Permo yet? No.
No, they definitely bought him.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of
It's a lot of
those.
money, wasn't it?
It's a loan with the option to buy.
Maybe obligation. I don't know. But look, it's. You could argue. I mean, my picks for, and we're going to move on to them. My pick for the top four is, of course, Arsenal. But you could argue that I thought Man United were done really without, still being well in it. But Ronaldo coming back, scoring a hat trick, beating Spurs. It's really like maybe made me sort of think twice and think, all right, maybe Man United aren't quite done yet. But my favourites for that top four spot, and I know for a lot of us on this show, has been Arsenal and Igal. 5 on the bounce now, another top performance and a clean sheet against Leicester. Some of the stuff you played against Leicester was great. I thought Odegaard was, he's just class. I love Ben White. I love Ramsdale. So you must be bouncing. And how has it been in the fan base as well? Just to get your opinion, because I know you were quite Arteta pro, and then you did switch for a while, which is fine. People are allowed to change their mind. I know you're now back on board, but how I'm hearing a lot of Arsenal fans like saying, do you know what, on the radio and that, apologising and saying I was wrong, because Arteta has really, really switched it up, and the signings that were made that you got mocked for, they've been class. Like we spoke about England, Ramsdale and White for me would be straight in that side.
Oh my God. First, I could start from everywhere, but let me just try to do it as quick as possible. Odegaard, absolute master signing. We sold Joe Willock and paid 10 million more to get Odegaard. Imagine 30 million. Thank you, Real Madrid. He's been an absolute revelation. Before the game, they tried to compare him to Maddison. Honestly, he needs to be compared to some of the best in the league. In the way that he's currently performing. He created 6 chances in that game. That's more than Leicester's whole team plus their subs. Now, moving on to Partey and Xhaka's partnership in the midfield has been a big key to how we've been performing lately. Those two senior midfielders being in the team have given us the solidity in the midfield, which we've lacked over the past couple of years. Now, I'm not saying what do you call it? I'm not saying that they're going to win us leagues or anything. I think Xhaka is still going to need to be upgraded in the future, but it's definitely doing very well right now. And it's not only 6 games or 5 games on the bounce, as you said. In the last 12 games, we've only lost 1 game, and it was to City. And if you guys remember that City game, it was a lot closer than people would have actually thought at the beginning. We were actually leading for majority of the game until the red card and everything happened, where we ended up losing 2-1. Ramsdale definitely better than Pickford in my opinion. It's not about is he going to be England number 1? I think when is he going to be finally picked as England number 1? Because I don't think there's currently anybody better than him in the English game. And also, I want to shout out to the Leeds fans and the Brighton fans who told me about Ben White when we signed him. I was one of those people who said Ben White could end up being a steal if he plays better than Harry Maguire and some of these other guys like Aaron Wan-Bissaka that we spoke about earlier that were paid for a ridiculous amount of money. 50 million at this point might end up becoming a bargain if he continues to play the way he's playing. He's playing so good. And a lot of you Leeds fans and Brighton fans told us about how good he was and how integral he was to your promotion and how good he was for Brighton last season. Some people called him the Seaside Mustafi. Now people are calling him the Seaside Maldini. It's just hilarious. I'm just joking there. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Maldini, but yeah, right. And then Saka had an off night, and we still won the game convincingly. We dominated Leicester. If you guys don't know, we took 21 shots, got 9 on target, had an XG of almost 3, and just it seemed like a routine win. There's not really much to talk about besides the atmosphere at the Emirates and the positivity at Arsenal right now, it seems like everybody's
Yeah,
back.
no, don't pretend there's an atmosphere at the Emirates. Don't get too
It was.
wild.
No,
I think there might have been yesterday, mate. Scarves
was
all over the
yesterday.
place.
Yesterday was scenes when you guys know the VR moments. The VR moments are hilarious because I've been to 2 games. I went to a West Ham game before lockdown where there was a VR moment, and then I went to this game where there's a VR moment. And I'm telling you, it's almost like you get to celebrate it twice. You get to enjoy everything, and it's like we got the penalty, we scored the penalty, and at that moment, I'm just saying, you know what, top 4, no pressure on us against Liverpool. Well, I feel like we got this no matter what. 70, I'm giving a 70% odds to getting top 4, and there's just no negativity at Arsenal right now. Everything's just positive, and I love that. That's the kind of person I want. I like to be. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So in the summer, when people were making fun of me, and I was saying Arsenal are on the rise and Tottenham are on the decline, and all these other things, people are laughing at me. Now you have all the major football accounts using my quotes from the summer. It's funny.
So you beat Liverpool on Wednesday.
It's not about beating Liverpool for me. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna come out here and be like we're gonna beat Liverpool, we're gonna smack them. No. The reality is Liverpool is a really good team and they have better players than us right now. All we have to do is go out there and give them a good game, try to get whatever we can from the game, and if we have an opportunity to snatch some points from it, take it. But if not,
it'll be a good barometer of where you're at, though, won't it? You know what I mean? Like, because normally you've done well and then you go up against the big sides and you've been slapped kind of thing. So I think it'll be a good barometer of where you really are, won't it?
We haven't really lost too many games this season besides the big games. So if we do pick up something in this game, it is, as you said, a good barometer. But they also said Norwich is going to be the real test and Brighton's going to be the real test.
Yeah,
and Burnley's going to be the real test. So every
Yeah.
game they say is going to be the real test. We had fans very scared before we played West Ham and Watford, and we ended up winning those games too. So if you guys don't remember, if you guys did previews with Arsenal fans, they were kind of shaky both games when we played you guys. So there you go.
Yeah. You gave us a hiding, mate. I can't say fairer than that. You know what I mean?
You guys had injuries, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean,
People didn't
that
want
was
to give us
rough,
any
that game.
credit for the 4-1 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I was at that game and Cody Drama got a start, and Martinelli tortured him, and now he's playing at Cardiff on loan. He's Cody Drama, so there you go.
It's difficult. It's difficult with Arsenal because at that time I felt like their performances were a little bit sporadic. Like I didn't feel they were consistent.
Yeah,
but I think
I remember.
I think there are 2 factors here. There are players that are being consistent, and I think the output's increased, particularly from the attacking midfielders. And the fact they've got Smith Rowe to come off the bench, I think, is a real plus for them. But the results are consistent now, and obviously, I think for me, it's kind of you're seeing a team growing and developing, and it takes time. Like when I watched them last season, I felt everything was a little bit disjointed. The players' roles in terms of build up, it was very slow. A lot of people would have said it's quite boring, but I think now when you look at Odegaard and what he does, it all makes sense to me now. Like it kind of all, I understand what Arsenal were trying to do, which I think once you get there as a fan, as an Arsenal fan, you probably have a lot more patience because I think that's the tough bit at the beginning when you're kind of like, well, I don't really see where we're going. We can perform well against this team or we lose against a big team. But I think Arsenal have come into a good run of form. And to be fair to them, they've been pretty consistent all season. So, yeah, I think, I think they're the favourites for top 4. I've got to be honest. They really are.
100%.
Just the burning question. Do you have the answer to this, Corey? Because I know you speak to Lee regularly. Has Lee changed his name?
Probably not, mate. No, to be fair to him, I spoke to him probably week before last, and he was very positive about the performance against Watford, and you know I think he's not going to sit there and dig Arsenal out if they played well, and they did play well. Let's be honest. I think going forward they're really exciting to watch. So I think it's just can they do it next season? I think European football will be a big thing for them in whatever context. They've got to build the squad, but Arsenal aren't that far off. If you look at Arsenal's team, Miguel mentioned it. I think if they can find an upgrade on someone like Xhaka. And I think they're in a good position too. I think they've got such a young team in multiple areas that they can afford to go, we'll spend 50 mil on this player and we'll really improve the team, or a striker, a centre forward at exactly the same time. So I think even the most hardened of Arteta outs must surely be thinking, hang on a minute, we are doing all right here.
Yeah. I'm worried though we're gonna do something like and get Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because I don't know if you guys know, we've been linked to striker replacements for Lacazette, and I would rather get somebody like Ivan Toney rather than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But hey, we're linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin now, and the fan base is going to go crazy. You guys know, football fans, we always question everything until it goes right, as we all did with Ramsdale and everything else. So hopefully whatever comes in, it works. And at this point, I'm fully like, you know what? I just trust their judgment because they know more than me.
I think as an Arsenal fan, especially just recent, you would have to a little bit. I was a bit like that under Victor Orta for a period of time, and people after the Bielsa situation and that have been hammering him again. But I'm a bit like that. It's like they get it right more than they do wrong, and I know like Junior Firpo's been terrible. But
I could have told you that.
yeah, man. I know, but then I look at like him paying 17 million for Rafinha, and we're like, okay, do you know what I mean? So I am in that place as a fan as well, where I do sort of go, I'm okay. I trust them, but it doesn't stop me throwing shade when they're rubbish. Charlie, you've seen Arsenal most recently as well. Obviously, was it 4-2? I think not last week. Was it last week?
Just 3-2.
3-2. My bad. But yeah, they've been impressive, haven't they?
Yeah, really impressive, especially yesterday. And I think the biggest note for me, which I've been impressed with, is just the style of play. It's so attractive, quick transitions. Against Watford, I was surprised how far forward we got, how attacking we were. It'd be interesting to see what you think, but am I convinced about Gabriel? And I do like Ben White. I think he'll be playing for England soon. The Boohoo Beckenbauer, as they call him. But Arsenal have been good. I was surprised.
Boohoo Beckenbauer. I love that.
You not heard that one?
No.
There's a couple of funny ones in Love Island, the Casamora, Cannavaro, but I've been very impressed with Arsenal. I'm not sure what to make of Mikel Arteta, especially some of his antics on the sideline. Sometimes I think he's trying too hard and goes over the top. When he had that clash with Klopp earlier in the season, I thought he didn't do himself any justice. But I think what he's learned from Pep, it's evident on the pitch the way they play. They've got to get top four. So tomorrow, like you said, is going to be a big chance. But if they play like they did against City, and for the first half they blitzed City, they were really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Wednesday night. It should be a good game.
Yeah, definitely.
Bless.
Will definitely be a good game. Gal, give us a quick prediction for that game, mate.
Against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna go 1-1. That's optimistic, but realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost 2-1. But it's not gonna be a blowout like we usually get.
Oh, be careful! You're on YouTube, mate. Be careful.
It's not gonna be a blowout.
Another team, and this is Corey's team. Let's talk about West Ham. We've been a little bit worried, haven't we, over the last few weeks, whether or not you could hold on to Europe. Well, I know I have anyway, Corey. I've been worried for you, bro.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Problem shares a problem halved and all that.
Exactly. To be fair, Corey texted me yesterday after the win and was like, I'm happy for you. I was like, oh, cheers, bro. But yeah, great win, mate. Villa, I mean, they smashed us midweek. I think it was 3 on the bounce maybe for Villa prior to that game. So yeah, a great win, and obviously what a moment for Yarmolenko as well with everything that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, on the performance, it was back to what West Ham are good at. I just think we controlled the game a bit more out of possession. I thought in possession we were good as well. The amount of possession that we could keep against Villa, we kept them penned back. It's perfect. People think it's boring, probably is for the neutral, but for me, I thought we pressed a little bit higher. We forced Mings to go long. We recovered possession. I thought tactically it was spot on from David Moyes, to be honest, and he had to change it mid-game, and it worked in the end. But we'll talk about Declan. I mean, he did a man-to-man job on Coutinho. He's so aggressive on him. He forced him deeper and deeper where he couldn't hurt us, which was a credit to him. And when he was on the ball, he was quality in possession. He's switching it. We're using the wide areas. I was actually surprised at how narrow Villa played against us. I thought they would have tried to play a little bit wider because West Ham will always build out with the fullbacks. We were just pinging balls, Creswell and Ben Johnson, and we beat their press really easily. So from that point of view, it was quite encouraging. We had chances, good deliveries into the box, but I wouldn't have said it was clear cut. Maybe Pablo had one in the first half where I thought he could have done better from. But by and large, I thought we were relatively comfortable. It's just always with Aston Villa, you cannot let them get that overload in the centre of the park, because the minute Coutinho picks it up and Ramsey and they're interchanging and Watkins and Ings with their build-up, it's problematic and you're going to create space. So we dealt with that really well. Second half, Mickey goes off. I don't know what's happened to him. I think he's got a dead leg, to be honest. And Creswell went off as well, injured. And the way Villa came out, pressed us a lot higher. They wanted us to go long. They wanted to, because we struggle. You've seen it, obviously, with Leeds. We couldn't play out from the press. Arsenal exactly the same. And I thought, here we go again. But it gives us an opportunity on the counter. Minute Mickey goes off, there's no Jared Bowen and Yarmo comes on. You're thinking, well, actually, there is no pace there. And it's going to be really difficult. But credit to Moyes, I thought the way he got Fredericks on and Johnson, he pushed them really high. We were aggressive in wide areas. We managed to take the load off someone like Yarmolenko in transitioning from deep and carrying the ball. And we'll talk about Yarmo's goal. I think the quality he showed generally in the game, his hold-up play, his link play, his keeping hold of possession in key areas, and the finish is sublime. It was right in front of me as well. And it was the way he takes it on his right and obviously pokes it home with his left. He had 3 players around him. And it was one of them moments. It was one of them moments you got to be there. And it was obviously really emotional. And to be fair, the crowd, the minute he came on, the minute his name was announced, everything, we were fully behind him. And the fact he could get that, and obviously he was crying in the end. And it was a big game. Got the 2-0. Little bit of squeaky bum time near the end where I think Gerrard went, listen, let's just go over Craig Dawson. Let's not try and play in the central areas. Let's try and really hurt them and be direct. And they got their goal. I was in bits because I thought they were going to score an equaliser, but no, we deserved it. We were good value for it. And that's an informed Aston Villa team, fully fit squad. Coutinho's on fire at the minute. And I thought we dealt with them really well for 70 minutes. So credit to David Moyes. We had no Vlasic. Antonio went off. Creswell's injured. No Jared Bowen. And we were really, really resilient. And I think that's what you want to see ahead of Sevilla. We've got to see some kind of improvement in performances. I don't think we fully slipped away in terms of results. And I think that's why we're still in the conversation. But the concern for me was I'm not seeing enough over 70, 80 minutes for me to feel like actually we can go again and we can compete. So kind of feels like we're stringing a few together. Wolves, Liverpool, albeit we lost, Villa. And Thursday is absolutely massive. Like it's huge.
Do you think you can overturn it, mate? Do you think you can overturn it at all?
I've always said this with West Ham. I feel that in the right environment with the crowd behind us, and I just love the performance on Sunday so much because I think the players really stood up. I think Souček looked better. Declan Rice took advantage. He was domineering in the midfield. Things like that. I just think we can galvanise. But to beat them, and they are a serious team. Like they're no joke. They are very different from the Premier League. A lot more incisive in their passing. We went toe-to-toe with them for the first half in Sevilla. So we can compete with them. We can create chances. Who knows, mate? If Craig Dawson scores the winner, never at the end of it, mate. Never at the end of it. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is what it's about. This is what we've worked. That team have worked incredibly hard, and David Moyes has taken us from relegation places to the round of 16 of the Europa League. So we'll see what we can do.
This is what I mean when I say consistency and continuity. Imagine if you guys would have sacked David Moyes, you guys would be in a worse position right now. But a lot of people in your fan base wanted him gone at the time. So when things are going well, everybody who was Moyes out are now eating their tongue and just being like, you know what, I'm happy, everything's happy. And the whole atmosphere at West Ham, I can see it from what I see on socials. You guys are very happy and everything's going well. The only thing I would say is, even if you guys do not get high up the table and you guys do not finish the thing, you guys still need to stay back, continue to back Moyes and continue to push on, because you never know how far this project might need to take before it all bangs. Right now, you're playing really well, and sky's the limit.
Yeah, I don't think any West Ham fan. I mean, they are a hard bunch to keep happy. I mean, we joke with Corey on here, man. They're like one loss and they're like Moyes out. But
well, you say that it kind of it is. Look, I mean, everyone is behind David Moyes, but there are games where he's not proactive enough in his subs. Why aren't we playing this? Why don't we press like this? At the end of the day, we play like this for a reason. 9 times out of 10, it's successful. 9 times out of 10, and listen, as a fan, when he first came in, I really didn't want him back. Like, I'm just being deadly serious. The football was poor. It was predictable. It was a long ball into Antonio, and that was it. But since we beat Chelsea 3-2 in lockdown, and Yarmolenko scored the winner, ironically, we've just improved and improved. So for me as a fan, I've always maintained that if I see enough where I go, okay, it's credit in the bank there, we are. And the fact we've just kept getting better and better and better shows to me that we're in the good hands. But it's a big summer. Like, I don't care whether we're in Europe or not. This summer is massive for West Ham.
You have to hold on to Jared
bodies
Bowen.
in.
you have to hold on to Jared Bowen because apparently Liverpool are after Jared Bowen as a Salah.
It's not even that, Gal. It's their owner needs to spend some money because they should have done it in January to solidify Europe, but instead they've put themselves in a dodgy situation. I know the moment yesterday for Yarmolenko was amazing and all that sort of stuff, but like even Corey said, when he was the one being brought on, it's really was sort of like we're done really, and all they needed is, I don't know, they could have picked someone from Championship. Do you know what I mean? Even as a body.
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I mean, we've been through the January transfer window, and whilst
I mean, you just saying that you bloody spent money on Jordan Hugo for God's sake. Do you know what I mean?
We're not going to talk about that. Moyes' track record's been pretty good since Jordan Hugo. Just for everyone watching, we actually had a genuine window where we were down the bottom and we signed Patrice Evra on a free, and we had already 2 left backs in and Jordan Hugo, and I don't think he ever played a game for West Ham. He might have played 3-4 minutes. It's just incredible. But like, it's a fine margins though. It's kind of, I'm losing patience a little bit with not Moyes at all, because the way he wants to build it is spot on. I've got no complaints with that. But this transfer window coming up, I don't want to see no rumours. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to talk about it until the players through the door. We'll have a discussion. But for me, it's almost like he's doing this with these players. And tactically, I think he's such a good coach. He's a brilliant manager, David Moyes. Imagine what he could do if he had 2 strikers on the bench, or he had 2 centre midfielders.
That's going to be difficult. Transfer windows turn us crazy. Don't lie to yourself. You're going to be all over all of it.
Nah, I can't anymore, Gal. I'm brokenhearted. And tell you what, I've never. I mean, bear in mind with these owners, I'm used to a lot of disappointments, but I don't think like that January transfer window where we were at, effectively competing for top 4, I'll ever kind of shift my mood, to be honest. But I trust David Moyes. I trust him implicitly.
You should look at someone like Sebastian Haller or someone like that.
Yeah, he's killing it right now.
I can't. Charlie, don't go there with me, because I tell you what, he's the most divisive player that's played for West Ham. Like, we were talking about it yesterday at the pub, and I was like, when he left, I thought that'd be it. Oh, we won't talk about Haller anymore. Like, he's moved on. He's a brilliant technical player, just doesn't suit West Ham. Lo and behold, he scored what? Something ridiculous.
Like, he's Champions League top scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, man scored 10 goals in the Champions League.
Yeah,
mad.
He's a good player. Good player, but not for West Ham.
There you go.
I think David Moyes, it doesn't get talked about enough. The resurrection of his career. Yeah. What happened at Manchester United? He got Sunderland relegated. Real Sociedad didn't do too well, but what he's done at West Ham, and we were in a relegation battle with West Ham. I remember there was a big game and West Ham turned us over, but they were close, but Moyes stuck to his guns. Just shows a good coach doesn't turn into a bad coach if they fail one time. Look at Unai Emery, a top coach, but sometimes it just doesn't fit. But what he's done with West Ham, like that result yesterday, now those wins are like just seen as routine. That shows how much of a brilliant job he's done, because I've got my 2 best mates are West Ham season tickets, and they're literally having the time of their life at the moment. So enjoy it while you can.
What he's doing at West Ham is amazing, because West Ham have this underdog approach. Am I wrong, Corey? You guys have the underdog approach. Every game against big teams, you have the underdog approach. Every game against a small team, you know you're gonna come up against a team that you can match them quality wise. So it's good for him. Where if he was at a job like, let's be honest, if he was at Manchester United again, some of the games they're gonna nitpick more. There's gonna be more pressure on him, and I just don't think the pressure was too much for him at the time.
Yeah. Do you know what? Not to bore everyone with West Ham, because I appreciate we've got to move on to Leeds or something else. But it is a good point. We've gone from me growing up watching West Ham beating one of the top sides and then losing to whoever near the bottom, and just constantly being flitting between brilliant and not, and always feeling like, why are we never consistent? And now even this season, teams come to the London Stadium, they will sit behind the ball, and it's on us to break them down. And that whole change of dynamic isn't easy, but that's where Moyes gets so much credit with me, because he's improved the team and we've had to learn to play differently. I love it when we're on the counter-attack. I think we're one of the best teams at doing it, to be honest, when Antonio and Bowen and Fornals and Benrahma are on it. But I think we've just improved generally, and he's changed the attitude as well. We go toe-to-toe with the big teams. Liverpool the other week, we should have got a point. And, the fact we didn't was criminal. So, yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'll just keep doing what we're doing, and let's see where we go. But yeah, that stadium on Thursday, if you get a chance to watch the game, I'm sure it'll be rocking. So,
yeah, definitely.
Well, you won't see me for a few days anyway if we win. So.
Brilliant.
You're gonna win it?
They're gonna win it all, man.
You never know, mate. You never know. We've beaten some big teams this season, so it would be so West Ham to go and beat them. And they are brilliant. They've got Rakitic back and Martial, and the list goes on. But yeah, who knows? In a one-off game, anything can happen.
Quick question, mate. If you don't get Europe, do you lose Rice and Bowen?
I actually think the Rice conversation has changed a little bit with the Chelsea. I mean, to be honest, I genuinely think it has, because if Abramovich had stayed, I think it would have been more inclined to say he will be off, or he's such a fantastic player that lure is always going to be there. Yeah. But for some reason, I think just because of that and because of the way he's playing for West Ham, and he looks very, very comfortable at where he's at. He's not pushing to leave. I think Jared's exactly the same. They've both progressed as players at West Ham. Yeah. I know they want to play top-level football, and I couldn't sit here and tell you that Declan shouldn't play Champions League, because if he went in the Champions League team tomorrow, he'd boss it. So everyone's telling me he's not world-class, he doesn't play at that level. I know he would be at that level. Yeah. But
yeah. You're right, man. I bet you sort of like can't wait for that moment. Obviously, you want him to stay at West Ham, but I'm like you. I've seen so many people slander him, and I just think when he gets there, you'll just be able to go, yeah, we did tell you. Oh, we did tell you, mate.
That's the only thing. But on the point of will we keep him, I think I'd say we keep Bowen. If it gets a bit tasty and someone comes in for Declan, then it could be interesting. But I think we at least keep Bowen.
Definitely. It's like, as a Leeds fan, I'm resigned to the fact that we lose Rafinha in the summer, but we keep Calvin. Calvin's for another summer yet, I think. Rafinha, he's gone. Fabrizio Romano tweeted about it today, actually, saying Barcelona, Liverpool and Chelsea. And I just think the Deco being his agent, Barcelona, Chelsea links, they're the two for me, because Deco... It's mad because Deco was at the game, I think it was the Liverpool game. No. He was at one of our games anyway, and there was talk of a new contract. Then he went away on Brazil duty, came back, no more talk of a contract. He's had absolute stinker after stinker after stinker. And now he's all these other links. Yes, he played well at the weekend, but the majority of Leeds fans will tell you he's been pretty woeful since that last international break. So, yeah, I think there's been a little bit of naughtiness going on from Deco. But there you go. It is what it is. But I'm resigned to the fact he's leaving. And if he does go, I'd like him to go to Barcelona so you don't have to play him in the Premier League. That would be my preferred destination for him.
He goes Definitely to Chelsea, that's career suicide, because Chelsea have no patience for players.
He's too good, mate. I think he's too good. I think the fact that when he went to Brazil duty, like he just like, what was it? I think 2 goals and an assist within his first 2 games, and yeah, he'll carry. Yeah, I don't know. He just didn't look out of place. So yeah, it's just different gravy. But anyway, that's for another time. We're not even at the summer yet. We've still got this season to go. But let's talk about. I think we can all enjoy this. I think anyway. Everton, and of course Frank Lampard now. I actually seen a guy on social media set his Everton tattoo on his arm. I don't know if any is. No. I shouldn't laugh, but it's hilarious. I've kept watching it. He just pours lighter fluid on his arm and then burns his Everton tattoo. I don't know why. I think he's had too many sherbets, but they're losing their mind at Everton. I've seen a good friend of this show, Mike, falling out with his best friend, and yeah, it's all kicking off. But it's funny, anyone in and around Everton or journalists don't seem to be blaming Frank. What a shock. What a shock, because he seems to get away with things scot-free when we've been telling people for a long time he's just not the guy. But yeah, look, lost 4 in a row. I think my favourite thing about his interview was, this happens when you're losing games. And they were losing games before I came in, I was like, oh.
Did he say that?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dear me.
They were losing games, This happens. It chips away at the club, the players, when you're losing games. And they were losing games before I came in. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, listen, Charlie, does it make you happy seeing Everton in a bit of free fall? Give you a little bit of hope, because they're hopeless at the minute?
I don't know about a bit of hope, but I was shocked to see that result. I thought at home, Goodison would get behind them. When I saw Wolves turn them over, I thought that's gonna be moody in there. Oh yeah, I've got to be careful what I say about Lampard, but his credentials aren't impressive, and like you said, they've probably got the most difficult running out of anyone. I just think they've got the players that, like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and I think in the home games, I think they will turn it into wins, unfortunately. But I think it could go to the wire. I can't see him doing a Newcastle and running away with it. But I do just think they've got enough quality to get out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's quite interesting, Igal, because I said that to Leeds fans, about Everton, and I had their home form keeping them up, and I had the Wolves game as one they would win, and people were like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "No, because they're good at home, and Wolves, you only need one goal sometimes." But obviously they get beaten. Connor Cody scores as well, who's a Liverpool fan, so that would have stung them. But just to give you an idea of Everton's games, Igal. They've got Newcastle up next. They've got to go to Everton. Sorry, they've got to go to themselves. They've got to go to West Ham. They've got to play Man United. They've got to go to Liverpool. They've got to play Chelsea. They've got to play Arsenal. So there's some tough games for him in there. So what are your thoughts? Because we had Don Hassam on, who I know is on your show, and he's tipped Everton for the drop. So what's your thoughts, Igal, on Everton?
Sack Lampard as soon as possible. You guys are done. You are done. Get a relegation guy in. Even Duncan Ferguson staying until the end of the season would have given you more morale than what they're doing right now. This is just horrific. And Lampard already seems defeated. If you guys see his body language on the pitch, he doesn't seem to be inspiring the players. There's nothing that they're getting out of these signings, their new signings that they made. I don't even know why they paid money for Dele Alli. I don't think he's going to help them. Maybe in the championship. Personally, Everton are the only other club besides Arsenal who have not been relegated in like, what is it, like 30 or 40 plus years. So if they do get relegated, it's gonna be like a historic club going out of the league. And if they do get relegated financially, they're gonna be screwed. So they have to pick up points against the Burnleys, the Newcastles, and Crystal Palace and everything else. And they play Leicester twice. Those two games. By the time they play Arsenal, their fate is already going to be done because we're the last game of the season. So right now, sack Lampard, bring in Big Sam. Only way you can save yourselves from relegation, in my opinion.
Do you know what, man? Like, it's mad because when we were talking about Moyes, and I was thinking he's like West Ham's like their new. He's new Everton in a way, Corey. He's like their new Everton because he did so well with Everton for a period of time. And then if you think about the drop since then for Everton, and they've actually spent money to get worse. Do you know what I mean? That's the mad thing about it. And the Van der Beek one looked like a good one. It looked like a good signing, especially when you consider his performance against Leeds. But listen, Frank Lampard in every game manages to get his teams up for Leeds. Did it for Chelsea. They battered us. They were the only team that run more than us that season, and then they went and lost about 4 or 5 on spin after because he just got them up for that game. And I feel like something similar is happening here, but I don't know. It just don't look. And it's mad when you think about the individuals, like Charlie was saying. Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Alan, Doucouré, Ali, Van der Beek. It's just, defensively they're terrible.
You want to know the crazy thing, Joe? They win every transfer. They apparently every transfer window they have an amazing window. Yeah. Everybody's raving about their windows, but they seem to be in turmoil every year. That's the definition of spending money and just being. They're basically a mini Manchester United. They're as bad as they spend as much as those big boys, but they perform 10 times worse. And this is like people made fun of us saying we were going to get relegated, and now it's like. When Everton are about to get relegated, people are just quiet about it. It's ridiculous. It's hypocrisy at its best.
Oh, they're not, mate. They're not. We're not quiet about it. We're not. Corey, thoughts, mate? Another loss for them. That Newcastle one next weekend, or is it midweek? I'm not sure. It's huge, isn't it? When is it? Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. It's on Thursday this week.
Is it Thursday? Massive, that game.
Yeah. I think they're in real trouble. I think sometimes you can tell a relegation team when you see one. I think that's why maybe called it a little bit early just because I could see him. And again, I think it didn't help bringing Rafa in. I mean, it's put them on a hiding into nothing. I appreciate they couldn't bring the players that they wanted to, but the sliding form, the feeling around the whole team, it's really hurt them as well. And Lampard's very. I think there's two things with Lampard. A, he's very arrogant and he wants to play a certain way. And B, he's very arrogant for a man that actually, when you break it down, doesn't really have that much coaching experience. And I think he's probably the wrong man in there. If you brought him in there for a bounce, for the fact that he's got a bit of an aura, maybe you can get more out of these players. They should have done their homework a little bit, Everton, and said, let's get someone just to stabilise. Eddie Howe, I appreciate he come in a little bit before, but I thought Eddie Howe was a good manager for Newcastle, to be honest, the right type of person. And you see what he's done, not only tactically and how they've improved, and not only recruitment, but the feeling around the squad. And that team has gone from, I know there's a lot of investment behind it, but it's gone from a team down in the doldrums, and they've had to really work hard to get to where they're at, and they're still not really out of it. So the whole appointment was a bit strange for me. And I think Carragher brought it up the other day defensively. Seamus Coleman, Kenny. I mean, there's no Mina that's hurting them. I don't think Godfrey's playing. That's really hurting them as well. But there's just a feeling around that club. There's just a feeling around that club, and even someone like Dele Alli. I know it's only retrospect and it's easy to sit here now and say, well, it hasn't worked. But, he's not really the player that you want in a relegation dogfight. He's struggled when Spurs are playing well. So can you imagine what he's doing now? So I think they're in big trouble, mate. I've tipped them to go down. I think they will. And I would love to pinch Dominic Calvert-Lewin off them. Yeah. Even if it is for 40-50 mil. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I don't even know if they can command a fee like that if they go down, can they? And then like, I think your man John Heckle's saying about these losses and that. I think they're up for, I don't know, they're going to be in trouble anyway, aren't they, for FFP? So it'll be a bit of a mad situation.
But I do feel sorry for Everton. It's
not fans.
That club. I like Everton. I like what they are. I like the whole feel about them. Everton are a massive club. Obviously, they've won league titles and they've had their success. It's a shame to see them where they're at now, but it's another case study, isn't it? You can't throw money at a problem. It doesn't always work. You've got to be smart about it. And obviously, what's going on with Ukraine at the minute, I think their owner as well. We can't put more money into the club, so it's even worse than maybe I thought at first.
And they have that Ukrainian player on their team. They sub him on. I feel sorry for him, man. He's already going through too much. He's now playing for Everton too. Wow.
Yeah. Mikolenko, it's a mad one. We'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. I do believe it is a bit of a shootout. Us, Burnley, Everton. I hate to do it with Charlie here, but I had them sort of written off. But we'll talk about Watford in a sec. I just want to speak first of all about the mighty Whites.
52 minutes in, you've had to wait.
I know, right?
Patience.
Do you know what though? We've had loads to talk about this weekend. I feel like the Premier League was class this weekend. It really, really kicked off, and we didn't even really need to speak about the title race, or haven't had to. Although City are currently being held 0-0 against Palace, by the way.
Vieira.
But Leeds United. Oh wow. Norwich, it was a must-win. I said that before the game. It was must-win. I said, a point's not enough. If you don't beat these, we're going down. I was resigned to the fact, just due to the fact that Burnley and Everton had so many games in hand on us. But we concede, and then Joffrey. I mean, I've got COVID, man. I'm a season ticket holder, and I missed it. I missed it. I was fuming because now, obviously, all the videos and all that sort of stuff is the noise inside the stadium was unbelievable. But young Joffrey, and I think for me, and this is why I think Leeds now will stay up. My mate made a good point. I think winning a game in that manner is bigger and better for morale and confidence than beating them 2-0 routine. I think winning in that manner, just even Joffrey and Dallas post-match as well, talking how bullish they were about Wolves on Friday. saying, well, Joffrey says, we'll go get something there now. That's what he said. And he went, oh, you really think so? And he went, yeah, no, we've just been speaking in that dressing room. He said, I think we'll get something. So I just think even that as well it just does loads for confidence. And just having a striker, like, if Joffrey's not on the pitch, I don't think Dan James finds himself in that position, although he was right behind him, so maybe I'm doing him a bit of disservice. But I just think having a focal point of a striker there is massive. Bamford gave us so much in the first half, enabling, bringing other players in, all that sort of stuff, and we sort of lost it when he went off. But he's only just coming back to fitness, but he'll be huge. And then, just what a moment. And I think that goal by that 19-year-old kid, who will be a star, by the way, is unbelievable. Like, in terms of his goal involvements in such a short space of time, he obviously scored against Chelsea. He came on and won us a penalty against Wolves. He obviously did that yesterday against Norwich. He will go on to have a great career in the game. And it was just, amazing. And I think that 19-year-old kid's probably, I know it's early days and people hammer me for this, but I think he's probably saved our bacon in terms of Premier League status, to be honest. I do. Because I think we'll have a little bit of a renaissance now. I do. I think we might even get something on Friday, fingers crossed. But
how did you feel with that Norwich goal winning?
Oh, mate, I thought we were down. It was horrible. But this is football, though, isn't it? This is football, because it was more a case of we'd created so much, Charlie, like throughout the game. We should have been 3-0 up by half-time. Rafinha hit the crossbar. Rafinha hit his standing leg with one of them. Pascal Struijk had 2 bites, one headed straight at the keeper, came back out to him over from 6 yards. Bamford, he had one where he was through on goal that he needs to dink or hit it with his right foot, and he does neither and puts it wide. And I think if he's not ring rusty, that's 2-0. I just think when luck's not going for you, but that's what I'm saying about how I believe that Joffrey last minute one can do loads for us now. I genuinely think that's bigger than just, winning that game 1-0 or whatever, Charlie. It was massive. And that's Norwich done now, Charlie, you would say?
Yeah, it's funny hearing you earlier talking about if we don't beat Norwich, we're down. We played Norwich on a Friday night at home, fireworks, all the crowd expecting. We lost 3-0 at home to them. When you lose 3-0 at home to Norwich, that's when you know you're in trouble. Norwich are done. I saw Daniel Farke was trending yesterday. Loads of Norwich fans wanting him back and aren't happy with Dean Smith. I do feel for those Norwich fans. It's a hard one. Do you take going up and down every season, having one season celebrating and one season absolutely miserable? But they just haven't got enough quality. Their signing's not good enough. Josh Sargent, Risica. They've spent some money as well. Billy Gilmore, do you know what I mean? He's too young to throw him into a sustainable team. But I don't want to speak too much because they beat us 3-0. But that's one of the places gone.
Can I just say something? Obviously, I didn't watch the Norwich Leeds game. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm just going to speak about Jesse Marsch. His success is dependent on a lot of people getting opportunities that are originally from North America, because immediately when you see North American or American coaches, you assume, not in the Premier League. We need coaches from Europe who understand what it's about to play in the European game. But Jesse Marsch's success could give opportunities to other people, and this is like really groundbreaking. He's not the first person, but the last person, who was Bob Bradley, did very bad, and we don't want Jesse Marsch to do bad and get relegated or anything like that, because then it could tarnish like a whole reputation of a whole part of the world with opportunities in coaching going forward.
Mate, do you know what? He says all the right things. He seems such a really, really nice guy. Look, before the Norwich game, I was calling all his positive mental attitude speak BS, but I was just fuming. I was not in a good place. You don't want to hear it when you're losing. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to hear people say, "Yeah, but we tried." But honestly,
the thing is, it's like he's got such a stigma around him, isn't he? Because if he was saying that and he wasn't American, then you wouldn't really be thinking that. You'd be thinking, well, actually, he's just trying to keep But because it is, I was in the pub yesterday. I was saying to someone, like, that's the problem, because he can't it's almost like he can't really win. Like he has to win and he has to get good results. Otherwise, the fall off is just there.
Yeah, we're used to it. With Bielsa, he can't speak English. He sits on a bucket. Now all we're getting is your man Ted Lasso. But I think the best thing Jesse Marsh did was address that in his first press conference. Because the best thing you can do when someone's going to have a go at you or say something towards you is just lean into that and go, "Oh yeah, I'm well aware of it. I've said it. Now you can't say it about me, mate." Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. So he's doing and saying all the right things. I just think he needs to survive, and then we can then start to implement his style like properly. That's why we tried to sign Brendan Aronson. It's clear that's why we tried to sign Brendan Aronson in January. There's an overhaul of the squad needed, and if we can get to the summer, we sell Rafinha for big money, and then investment from 49ers as well. I think we start to climb. I think anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But massive 3 points against.
He's a really good coach. I
Yeah.
think the most exciting thing about him is his style of play. Similar to Bielsa, a bit different in terms of the man-to-man marking, but he's a really exciting coach. RB Leipzig got rid of him way too early, didn't give him a chance. What he did at Salzburg's really impressive. New York Red Bulls, like you said, I think it's a really good appointment in terms of aligning with the guys' owners, the vision, exciting, get Ellen Road up. Imagine being in Ellen Road yesterday. It was amazing. And you saw his emotion. I think it's a really good partnership. Like I said, if you get through this season, be smart with some recruitment. But I think it's a really good match.
Yeah, definitely. It's all just about getting to the end of this season. And I think that result gets us there. But now, Charlie, your time to shine, my friend. Not that you haven't been shining all the way through. Been a great guest. Thanks, bud. Let's talk about Watford. Obviously, 2-1 yesterday against Southampton. Real surprise because Southampton are a decent side, although they've done their gradual, we win loads of games and then start to lose loads of games, which I'm happy about because we play them soon. So hopefully they continue that losing run. But yeah, level on points now with Everton. And I've been saying for weeks, Charlie, that Watford are done. I can't lie to you. I've said Watford and Norwich are done. However, you have us, Everton, Brentford and Burnley all to play at home, which is massive. And you have Roy Hodgson. So, I looked at that and I thought I have to get a Watford fan on because them 4 games at home, knowing now you're level on points with Everton, it's there's a big chance you do stay up. So I just wanted to get your thoughts or a Watford fan's perspective on the relegation fight and where your head's at.
Yeah, I really don't want to come across like a negative sour, but on the evidence of everything I've seen this season, I think we will go down. Those 2 points you said, one, those home games, I would be excited about that, but our home form this season has been absolutely tragic. Losing to Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. And every time we play at home, we're terrible. I don't know if it's pressure of the crowd, but we're a lot more freer away and we can actually play counter-attacking football effectively like we did yesterday. And then your second point was Roy Hodgson. If we lost yesterday, he could have been sacked, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, if you look online, he could have been in deep, deep trouble, which I think the mainstream media would have had an absolute field day with. But the one positive I'm trying to go with Roy Hodgson, if you look at his season with Fulham, he took over exactly the same time. And we've actually got more points than we did back then. I think his methods take a while to sink in.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping now we can. The problem is our next game's Liverpool away. So that momentum's just going to be gone. But we just need to keep trying to pick up points. The home form doesn't mean anything to me. The problem we've got City away. But we just need to keep jars in those wins. And like you said, if we can beat Everton, get a positive result against them, Brentford, I think the thing with Southampton that you'll be looking forward to, they are well on the beach. They've booked their holidays. They are chilling. So it's now you kind of want to be playing those teams in the middle. Your Crystal Palaces, your Aston Villas, where they might not have something riding on it. I just think we've burned through too many games and we're clawing back. If we do manage to get some momentum and build up at home, then we'll have a chance.
Yeah. It's quite interesting you saying that, because I could see Corey as I was mentioning these home games, and I was the same, Corey, like thinking,
Yeah.
wow, Watford are in a big chance there. But hearing an actual, that's why I wanted to get a Watford fan on, just to hear what that was like. But yeah, I am really nervous about that game, actually, Watford Leeds, to go to your place. But how does that make you feel, Corey? You know, just hearing a Watford fan there still, Charlie. I mean, I guess there will be some out there that will be like, no, we're going to do it. And I understand it, because I'm a positive guy and there's Leeds fans that aren't. But do you know what I mean? That's I gave it all that big run up there, and then I'm just like, oh, Watford are still going down then. That's all right.
No, I mean, that's the thing, though. I remember when we played Watford at home, and Hodgson, I think it was Hodgson's first game. I thought, great, the master of the 4-4-2. This is going to be a tough one. And we typically struggle when he was Crystal Palace manager. It gives you a chance. It does give you a chance. And I think Watford are that team where they do have forward players that you look at. Josh King, Dennis is one that if Watford went down, I think we should be all over. They have the ability to count. Sarr, I haven't even mentioned. So they've got that kind of potential to be solid defensively if they can get it together and he can sort of bed the organisation in, but also hit teams on the counter. So when they beat Southampton, it was kind of, I know from the outset, they are very poor and they have mistakes. I did kind of think, yeah, I can see it. That's a typical Roy type of win, you know, a 2-1. He's nicked it, and listen, the fixtures are favourable. If they can pull something together, I think did you say they're playing Norwich? Is that right?
No,
Yeah.
we played Norwich twice. We've got Burnley, Brentford, Leeds, all at home. That Burnley, we haven't mentioned Burnley today, but I think this is their time to go down there.
Yeah.
The tiny little.
Yeah.
Well,
And the thing is, I just think Watford have got. It's just Hodgson. I'm telling you now, it's just him. Like I know we say the same about Dyche. I do appreciate that, but you know, like Charlie just said, it does feel like it's their time. They sort of started to build, and I thought, oh, here we go again. They're going to do a late charge, but I don't know. I wouldn't write them off. And we talked about Everton. Look how shaky they look. When you look at some of the teams like a Watford, you think they probably got more. They got more about them than Everton have at the minute. Take players out of it. They got more about them, at least managerially. So. Anything can happen, mate. It's too tight down there. It's too tight.
Have you guys looked at the table lately? Because I'm looking at it right now, and I still think Burnley have enough games in hand to get themselves out of that relegation place. So even though Everton also have games in hand, I think Burnley are currently playing a little bit better. They still have 2 games, 27 games to 29 games to Watford, and they're only 1 point behind them. So I really do think Burnley could easily finish like 15th, 14th at the end of the season, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I understand. I understand where you're coming from, and they had a positive result a couple of weeks back, but Burnley aren't the Burnley. I don't know. I said weeks ago that the bottom 3 was as it were, and then Burnley did start to pick up some results, but I mean, they got beat by Brentford at the weekend, Charlie, didn't they? I mean, you know, Brentford are now out of it. I think that's them done, because I was looking at their games. I said a couple of weeks back they had like Newcastle. I don't know if it's Newcastle. Then it was Burnley, and then they've got another team down there, I think. And I was like, oh, you know, we could catch them. They're going to get dragged in, but Ivan Toney's come back at the right time. He gets his hat trick last week against.
They only have Tottenham.
Norwich, I think,
I think I'm looking at their fixtures right now. They only have Tottenham, West Ham, Wolves, and I would say Spurs. That would be tough games. The rest of the games are going to be people who are either in and amongst them or not too far off.
The next game's against Man City away.
Yeah. But they also have 3 games in hand.
5-0 every year, isn't it? 5-0.
Sort my fantasy team out.
Listen, Aston Villa, Southampton, Everton, Norwich, Watford, Aston Villa again, and Newcastle. Those are the games where they could pick up points, in my opinion.
No, but this is what I'm saying. They're down there. They're teams that are fighting for their lives. I mean, they were beaten by Brentford at the weekend.
That was a big loss, that. Really big
massive.
Loss.
It's massive. It's massive.
The referees are going to help them. You know what they do with Burnley. They let them get away with murder.
I'm from an Arsenal fan.
No,
who's doesn't like getting roughed up.
Listen, we've all watched Burnley games where they say, "Oh, Burnley's the type of team we need in the Premier League. Burnley's this, Burnley's that." the referees are more lenient with the fouls that they give because they're a more physical team. Honestly, it's a psychological thing at this point. If you're
in your mind,
we're gonna have to disagree, Gal. That Big Six, I've seen some serious refereeing performances against them this season. I can't.
Yeah.
I used to think it was rubbish, but when you see it live in the flesh, it's just different.
I no longer think it's just Arsenal. I think it's just all referees are not that good.
Just before we'll finish on referees, if everyone's still good for time, but just because I know me and Corey do this on the regular, but just to ask Miguel and Charlie, who's your three relegated teams, Miguel?
Burnley. Ooh, what the hell was that? Burnley, Watford. I'm sorry, bro, and Norwich.
So after
I thought
saying
Burnley
all
were
that,
getting out of
Burnley,
it.
you just put Burnley down anyway.
Yeah, I have them down strictly for agenda, but I really do think they could get out of there.
For agenda. What about you, Charlie?
We're gonna have to agree.
Yeah.
What a shame it is that Newcastle have just got in a madness.
It
would have
been
been
nice. They'd
nice
have gone
to
as well, wouldn't they? They'd have gone probably.
Yeah, we played Newcastle. I went and we drew 1-1, scored last minute. Their fans were ready for the Championship, but
yeah,
they've had a stunning turnaround. I think they're the second most informed team in the league. It's crazy. Yeah, I think it's going to be Norwich, Watford, and Burnley. I'm hoping for more capitulation at Goodison Park.
yeah. They shouldn't have got beat by Chelsea either, should they? They got hammered by a refereeing decision as well. Did Newcastle? But yeah, Corey, some crazy refereeing decisions. Obviously, the one, the failure to give Jacob Murphy a penalty, Trevor Chalobah. How it's not a penalty, I don't know. You've got Sanchez who cleaned out Luis Diaz, basically like forearm smashed him. Didn't get a red card, and then you've had. I mean, there's even like they were trying to say that Rodrigo's goal shouldn't have stood because Bamford's in an offside position, and if the defender doesn't, I mean, if Bamford's not there, the defender wouldn't head it. And then I started to think about it, and then you think about the Maguire own goal though, like because Romero's in an offside position, so if Romero's not there, would Maguire have slid in for the ball? There's all these different hypotheticals, and I'm like, I don't know if ours sort of complicating it so much that there's all these different counterfactuals, but I don't know. But yeah, some issues at your game as well, was there, Corey?
Yeah, I think it's probably more of a personal thing with Aston Villa. I think there's probably a larger point about VAR and definitely about how correct these decisions are, particularly when you've got that level of technology and it's that blatant how they're missing it or what the interpretation actually is. And I think that's where fans get so frustrated. No one really understands. What will happen is, like you see with Everton, it's happened with West Ham against Arsenal. There'll be a wrong decision, and 2-3 weeks later they say, "Oh, we got that one wrong." But and it's really not good enough. In our game,
public apologies to Lampard, don't they? He gets a public apology in.
But even that, I just find it so, it's different with us because you could say, well, we're up there and we'll galvanise and we'll get a couple of results. But when you're Everton and you're down there and you're playing Man City and it's that level and they say, "Oh, sorry, we got that wrong." When you've got a monitor on the side, you've got a refereeing booth to go back to, and you're a referee yourself. It just shows you the standard of officiating. My problem yesterday was how weak some of the referees are. Like they become they allow things to go on. They let things that shouldn't happen. I think teams in this division, and look, I appreciate different circumstances. If you're down there and you're fighting, then time wasting is a big thing. But these referees are so poor. They allow so many things to go on, and it's easy. And it's not just understanding the rules of the game, it's game management and understanding what the teams are doing, and they just don't have the personality or the skill set to actually do their job properly. And it's as simple as that. And it's getting boring, mate. Like you say, you're sitting there and you're watching goals go and you're going, okay, was his hand in a natural position? Was he interfering with play? Like what? And we were all having to become almost really in sync with what the rules actually are, when in truth we shouldn't even have to be sitting there. We should go, that's what it is. That's done. Yeah. Appreciate there are grey areas, but it's when you see Chalobah and you see, was it Havertz as well with the elbow? Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, mate. And it feels like we have these conversations every single week. I think the Premier League is definitely the worst for officiating. I don't hear it anywhere near as bad as this.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Because, I mean, it worked for us yesterday because obviously Ayling, and it wasn't a penalty because Rashishka basically stood on him and then threw himself to the floor. But then, like today, when I was watching Match of the Day in the Watford game, there was a handball in that one that, as a fan, obviously not wanting Watford to make up ground, I'm thinking, well, that was handball. Like his arm was in an unnatural position. But then, like another week, that's the thing in it, Charlie. It's just there's no consistency whatsoever. And no one has a clue what they're doing, I don't think.
It's for me, when it's criminal is when they look at it on VAR and still get it wrong. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, I just think you've got two decisions: either scrap VAR and go back to there's going to be errors, which I think I would like because I hate the not knowing if a goal goes in and all that crap.
Yeah.
Or you get people who've played the game working the VAR and helping them out so they can actually make some correct decisions. Yeah, when they're going to VAR and they keep looking at it, they're still getting it wrong. We had a really bad one at Burnley, which would have been a massive win for us. Hand out, hits his hand, just like who did it happen to? Dallo or something, United game. But VAR it's just not working for me. It's terrible. Get rid of it, I say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I sort of enjoyed that jeopardy in football a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It gives you moments, but it's even worse, like you say, when some weeks they can't even get that right, and it's like, what are you watching? So I don't know, but I said, thank you everyone for watching tonight's show. Some great numbers. Absolutely loved it. Thanks for my guests as well. Make sure you subscribe to the West Ham Way with Corey. Make sure
don't
you subscribe.
do it anymore. I've left. I'm not. It's not my gig no more. I'm still doing YouTube. Don't worry, I'm still about. It's just that's not my thing anymore. So
When did this happen?
The other day, I was kind of like, I'm gonna do a bit like what you did and do my own little thing. Granted,
cool.
I was doing so I'm kind of just going down that route. So I'll have to sort out things and go. You know what it's like trying to set it all up, but.
100%, right. Watch it. Wait. Don't go to. Well, you can go to the West Ham Way if you like.
No, don't go there. I mean, it's basically just a load of my stuff anyway. So if you want to go there, you can. But
yeah, just sit tight though. Sit tight. Make sure you go to.
I will say this as well. Sorry, just because I appreciate I'm not on that channel anymore. But there's a lot of Leeds fans that do comment, and I do really appreciate it. And they are some insightful stuff. So I do like the odd. I get the odd little yellow and blue heart emoji. So I appreciate it. I really do. It is quite good to see.
Good
yeah,
man.
Same thing for me. One of my main moderators is Tim. Big up Tim if you know Tim.
Tim,
he's always supporting. Big up to him and all the other Leeds fans. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a show at 10. So if you guys want to check it out there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've got a similar type of show with the Don, Hussam and all that guys, haven't you? So that'll be out at 10. So make sure you go over to EGTV. That there is also, his link is in the description. And as I say, great debut for Charlie. We will have him back if he will come back on. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He works for the Coach's Voice, as I mentioned earlier. I have linked Charlie's Twitter on in the description. You do spaces as well, don't you, Charlie, when ahead of Watford games and stuff?
Yeah, we do Twitter spaces ahead of every Watford game. It's normally loads of Watford fans moaning, but we have opposition fans on. I know Joe's came on before the Leeds one. We've spoken to a couple of ex-players on it and stuff. So if you want to be involved in that, just drop me a follow, yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Make sure you do. And thank you all for watching, as I say. And I'll be back on Wednesday for the midweek fix with a load of Leeds fans. And then we have a game on Friday against Wolves. I don't think we'll do the preview show because I think Corey might be busy watching European football.
I'll be having a few beers, I think.
yeah, that's how he rolls now.
Nerves
but thank you. Everyone for watching, and we will see you all in a bit. Peace out.